There are several ways to start a new project within the Parsel platform. The first and most common is starting a single site project. To begin this, simply click on the link, which will bring us into the quick project setup page. From here, enter in the appropriate information. Parsel will ask for a project name as well as a property name. These can be the same thing, but if you're working on a portfolio, you'll want one overall project name with individual property names for each site. In addition, Parsel does ask for a draft and final due date for your report. These fields fill into both the general information of the report itself and does help us with some of our dashboarding capabilities. Once you've filled out the required fields, there is some additional optional information that you can fill out as well. One of those fields being the client information, which you can expand by clicking the Show button on the right-hand side. Once that information is available, you can freehand type your client information, or you can click on Find Contact to open your address book. Either select a contact that has been pre-designated or add an additional contact into your address book. Once your client's information is in the address book, adding them to the Start a Project field is as simple as clicking on any one of their fields. As you can see, that information is now all pre-populated. This information will flow directly to the general information of your report, as well as any ancillary items that contain that information, including cover pages, transmittal letters, and the like. Additional optional information can be seen here at the bottom of the page, each one of them acting very similarly to above. By clicking the Show button, that information can be expanded. So additional property information, additional site contact information. This information, again, will flow to the appropriate areas of the report, being either the general information, variable replacer, or other such items. From this page, you can also grant access to individual users. By default, everyone in your company can see and has access to every job that is started within your company. You can restrict that access to yourself, or even create project teams. If working with a sub-based model or directly with your client, you can also grant access to that sub or to your client directly from this screen here as well. If there are any attachments that you would like to include in this project, these would not be things like site photographs, but they would be things like if you had a prior phase 1 or additional information such as that you wanted to include. And of course, with the email notification that does go out automatically, it would be returned to you, being the starter of the project, but you could include additional individuals, and once again you have the address book available here for you. Once you've filled out your property information and any additional optional information that you'd like to include, the one last piece of information that Parsel does need is what template and default language you'd like to include with this project. For this purposes of today's demonstration, we'll select the Phase 1 optimized template, enter in our project number, and our language library is preset to the default for this particular template, but you do have the option of selecting a different default language library while using the same template. Upon clicking Create Project, you'll be launched directly into the project itself on the general information screen. You'll also receive 2 emails, one being a work order. Some of our clients use this for accounting purposes. The second email will be the Parsel Kickoff Report. The Kickoff Report can also be accessed here from the left-hand side underneath the Tools menu. This kickoff report will give you some preliminary information as far as any other jobs you've done around that site, and as well as contact information and driving directions to close environmental agencies, such as the health department, water department, local libraries, and the like. The second way to start a project is a portfolio. If you have multiple sites that you wanted to enter at once, you can click on the New Portfolio link. It will again ask you for some basic project information. Ask you which of your clients is requesting the work. Again, the draft and final due dates that we saw earlier, and any overall comments that you wanted to include on that project. As far as entering sites, you can do so manually, or much more popular is uploading a spreadsheet of sites all at once. If you don't already have the Excel template downloaded, you can download it directly by clicking this link here. And as you can see, it's available. Entering in your project information and saving it as an XLS file and not an XLSX file would be the proper way to do so. Once you've filled out the Excel template, you can select it by the simple Browse and Upload. confirm, edit, or delete any of the properties that are now listed. If you're satisfied, you can continue on to the next step. From this step, you'd be selecting what transaction type, as well as what report or template you wanted to include. Once you selected on the first report, you can select different templates for each individual site, or simply fill down from the first and continue on to the next step. From here, you'd want to select your default language library, enter in your project number and the cost to the client. This is optional information. This information can be provided back to you in a metrics format from Parsel. But once again, you can select one option from the first report and select fill down to make a consistent selection across all of your reports and continue on to the next step. From here, we have step 4, or attach documents. Again, this is an optional step. If you had a prior phase 1, if you had overall instructions you wanted to provide, you could do so here. Once done, continue. Access is very similar to the single site setup, whereas any employee of your company would have access to this project as a default. But if you wanted to restrict access to one of your project teams or simply to yourself and then individually grant access at a later time, you can do so on this step. And when you're done, continue. Confirm the project information. You can edit an individual site or the entire project at once. Once you have concluded that this is the correct information, you want to confirm this information. And the last step, the confirmation. This would be that email that is sent to you and anyone else that you would like to CC. This email will kick off the project, and this will, of course, send you, as mentioned earlier, the work order for the project itself. Once the portfolio has been created, you have several options here, including granting access to additional individuals, setting up another project, or even viewing the project dashboard for the project you just created. And of course, from the project dashboard, you'd then be able to jump into any of the individual sites if you were responsible for entering additional information. The last way to start a project on Parsel isn't actually from Parsel. If you have selected Parsel report writing as one of your options when placing your order on the EDR website, it will start the Parsel project, but Parsel does require a few more pieces of information. So what you'll need to do here is select the order placed on EDR website link, which will show any orders that you have placed on the EDR website but are currently on hold because Parsel's looking for some additional information. Select the report you'd like to continue with. You'll notice that all the information you pre-filled is available here. All Parsel's waiting for is the draft and final due date and the template and default language library selection that you'd like to include. You still have the option of including any of the additional information we have shown earlier, but once you fill in your draft and final due date, select your template and default language, and click Create Project, it will bring you into the general information and send you those 2 emails very similar to the single site project. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email us at support@parselplatform.com for the fastest service. Thank you very much and have a great day.